Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and here's the headline from dailyhodl.com. World Economic Forum names XRP as crypto asset most relevant in central bank digital currency space. Now, this is a brand new headline from Daily Hodl, but where it stems from is actually not new at all. It comes from a publication, and it came out earlier this year. Positive regardless, but I will share with you why it's coming out again in this video and cover this as well, because I've got to set the table properly here. But it all makes sense, and I will tell you this, I'll tease it just a little baby boo bit before we get into the content. It has to do with XRP functionally being used in a major way on a truly global level, connecting currencies of all kinds, fiat currencies specifically. And we're also talking about fiat currencies that, perhaps become central bank digital currencies. Maybe a little bit of that. Talking about XRP bridging them all. But before we go any further, if you would please ever so delicately tap the like button, I would definitely appreciate the support. I also recommend that you treat yourself, girl, by subscribing to the Moon Lambo channel, which is the Moon Lamboest of all channels on the YouTubes. That's probably true. I don't know what the hell it means, but it's probably true. Shout out to the Rock XRP for sending me to this piece from Daily Hodl. I do appreciate it. So let's dig in. The World Economic Forum, or WEF for short, is looking at XRP as the most relevant cryptocurrency in the emerging central bank digital currency space. In a report published early this year, the WEF says that central banks and government agencies are looking at the potential of central bank digital currencies to solve perennial global financial issues such as financial inclusion and the stability of payment systems. The Geneva-based international organization also made a clear distinction between central bank digital currencies and cryptocurrencies. And indeed, they are fundamentally different, because even if a central bank digital currency is utilizing blockchain technology, it's always going to be centralized. It's not going to have some sort of open market price that the people on exchange get to decide exactly what they're going to pay for. Now, I understand that there's foreign exchange markets. I'm just saying that it's centralized, and people are absolutely not going to treat it the same. That's all that I mean by that. But here's a quote. Central bank digital currencies is a digitized version of sovereign currency created and issued by, and a liability of, the country's monetary authority. Central bank digital currencies differ from other forms of digital or virtual currencies, including cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and stablecoins, which are not issued by central banks or typically considered legal tender. Yeah, and so that's the thing about this. So, I mean, technically, there's certainly an argument to be made that the United States dollar is already digitized. It is. You're just talking about the underlying technology to track it and move it around changing. Probably using blockchain. That would be the assumption, right? And so the problem with it all is the same terrible monetary policy that underlies it would certainly still exist. Because now that the United States dollar, for example, is not backed by gold and hasn't been for some time, and you can just print the dollar all willy-nilly, do you think the federal government is ever going to want to give up that kind of power? I don't think so. Once the genie's out the bottle, the genie is out the bottle. And now you have ridiculous debasement of the United States dollar. And I'm not going to get into it terribly in this video. I've talked about it enough recently. But it's going to be a problem, says Moon Lambo, at some point. I'm not saying there's going to be hyperinflation anytime soon. In fact, I'm skeptical of that happening in the short term, as in the next, 2, 3, 4 years. I'm skeptical of that happening. I guess technically possible. I just don't suspect it will for a number of reasons. But at some point, this is going to become a much bigger deal. Now, although the WEF is drawing a clear line between the two forms of digital assets, it names XRP as the most relevant cryptocurrency in the wholesale central bank digital currency space for intra or interbank payments and settlements. And in a recent blog post, and this is why it's coming up, Ripple notes that central banks around the world are locked in and in an arms race to develop their own central bank digital currencies. The payment startup also explains how central banks can leverage XRP to facilitate and support the use of central bank digital currencies. So why what do you think the World Economic Forum is recognizing here? Because look, clearly they see that there are going to be a bunch of central bank digital currencies. I won't be surprised if literally or almost literally every single sovereign government the world over event that has issued fiat currency will ultimately have its own central bank digital currency, because it's just a new evolution. Again, it doesn't change any of the underlying monetary policy. It's just more efficient. There can be benefits to it. So I certainly suspect that this is indeed what's going to happen. But don't forget this. These central bank digital currencies are not just going to magically interoperate with each other. And so why is the World Economic why is the WF talking about this, the World Economic Forum? Because XRP can be used to bridge them all. You're always going to need a bridge. There's not going to be some sort of weird magical world out there where central banks effectively set up a nostro vostro accounts amongst each other. Like, do you really think that's going to freaking happen? That's insane. I already broke down why in a recent video, so I'm not going to go through it again in this video, but it's completely bonkers, in my humble opinion, to think that something like that would happen. And so the only solution to the train wreck that is the world of global cross-border payments, especially as it pertains to the settlement portion, requires the utilization of the technically sufficient and decentralized cryptocurrency that also has an open market price, and that's it. And so from Ripple's piece, here is a quote. RippleNet's on-demand liquidity service allows financial institutions to transact in real time across multiple global markets using the digital asset XRP, and such a solution can also support the direct exchange of central bank digital currencies. How about that? No kidding. And there's still people out there, especially Bitcoin maxi trolls, that don't understand fundamentally the reason that trust is an issue in the legacy financial system. And because they missed that piece, they think that either a stable coin or a central bank digital currency or a bank coin can fill the role. But it can't. You need to have a decentralized cryptocurrency that has an open market price fill that role. And the only cryptocurrency that fits that bill, that's being positioned for this use case in the whole world, out of over 7,000 cryptocurrencies, the only one positioned for that is XRP. Nobody else is even attempting to do what Ripple is doing, and humans have not devised another solution. So if this doesn't work, you're always going to have this type of settlement issue. Even though you can pick up efficiency without blockchain on the messaging portion, that's fine. I'm talking about the settlement, the back end of all this. The only solution requires, again, a decentralized cryptocurrency with an open market price here. And then they state XRP is faster, less costly, and more scalable than any other digital asset, making it the ideal instrument in bridging two different currencies quickly and efficiently. Where we go? Yeah, here we go. So here's what Brad Garlinghouse had to say about that piece, which came from Ripple. Over 70% of the central banks around the world are looking at deploying central bank digital currencies. And one thing that's crystal clear is the importance of interoperability. If you're not prioritizing this, you're just rebuilding the same siloed system. And he tweeted that out. Why do you think he tweeted that out? Because he knows, just like the World Economic Forum knows, that you're going to need to bridge all of these currencies. Just like you need to bridge them today in their current forms, once they become digitized in a different capacity, it doesn't mean that the trust issues go away and they're still centralized. Nothing fundamentally changes. So just because they become CBDCs, and so it's a new form of digitization for them, it's not like the trust issues go away. Nothing fundamentally changes, which is why those people that think that, suddenly just because there's this new form of the fiat currency that now the federal governments around the world are going to have their central banks, implement Nostro Vostro accounts the world. They could do that now. They're not going to implement Nostro Vostro accounts the world over just because of that. It's completely silly. Now on to this. This is a Twitter thread from Pine Straw Wookie, who tagged me along with some others in the XRP community, including mostly my fellow XRP YouTubers. And so there's just a question from Pine Straw Wookie. XRP price must remain low during the adoption phase of on-demand liquidity because institutions will be hesitant to destroy 20 XRP to create each new wallet if the price is too high. Thoughts? ? And so I'm sure pretty much all of us know, but there's always new people. So just to be clear, if you're going to set up a new account with XRP, it does require 20 XRP to go in which is just stuck there forever unless the participants within the network vote, and it would take 80% approval to change that number, right? And so, indeed, you got to invest something. You got to have some skin in the game, and that also helps to prevent spammers. That's a huge part of the reason that was implemented in the first place. And so, I happen to have actually been the very first person to respond to that question, and I wrote, the 20 XRP reserve can be changed by a vote. In fact, I believe the reserve used to be 300 XRP or something like that, so it's already been reduced. And that is true, and I didn't go back to check and see if it was like 300 or 400. I'm pretty sure it was 300, so you can fact check me on it. That's perfectly fine. But it has been reduced at least once. And I was going to write more, but then about like a minute later, my fellow XRP YouTuber, Green Eggs and Ham, wrote effectively what I was going to write, so I just left what I wrote alone. But here's what he wrote. He wrote, they don't need to create many, if any, wallets. They won't care about 20 XRP. That's a drop in the bucket. With a deletable accounts feature, 15 XRP is recoverable. And that's also true as well. So I don't think it's going to be something that is any sort of notable way. Well, for institutions, certainly it's not something that's going to stop them whatsoever. I don't think that's going to matter at all. Galgatron then responded and wrote the same thing as me, effectively. He wrote, it's similar anyway. If the price of XRP goes up considerably, the minimum balance for an XRP account will be dropped. So no. And then Pine Straw Wookie responded and wrote, okay, thank you for the clarification. And he wrote that to all of us. Do you see that limiting access to retail investors? Technically, yeah, there will be some people that see that as some sort of barrier that they're not going to be willing to overcome, but that's got to be a tiny percentage of humans. You're not talking about, much money at all. 20 XRP, at today's prices anyway, that's under $5. And so if people want to get in, they want to trade, my gosh, most people, even if they're only going to spend like 50 or $100, like, I mean, come on, it's $5, right? And I understand it's going to be worth more as the price goes up. I totally get that. But I don't think that, actually I can tell you this, it's clear that it didn't slow down the retail investors in 2017 when XRP was worth 20-something cents, and then weeks later, in early 2018, it was worth almost $4. So to me, we already have evidence that the reserve is not a factor that's going to hinder parabolic growth and opportunity in terms of price appreciation for XRP. I don't think that's going to happen at all. And you can take a look at this. This is a ledger.exposed website, and you can see there are now over 2.1 million XRP accounts that are active. And they've been going up. In fact, it may have been, I want to say it was August, I think over 100,000 accounts were created in that month. I'm pretty sure that was the case. Again, that's something you guys can fact check me on, but I'm pretty sure that's the month where we just had like this insane growth. I think it was probably the fastest growth that we had ever seen in terms of account creation on the XRP ledger. So clearly this isn't going away. Like, if you track this, you will see that this number just keeps on going up. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like, just hundreds and hundreds of thousands of new accounts created per year. And I think when you see the next parabolic market cycle, it's just going to be even more outrageous. Like that would be my guess anyway. But I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.